Hello, dear audience. We are going to share with you the story, work and learnings of Provident Mexico's PMO. My name is Gerardo Sierra. I manage the IT governance area and I have been in charge of the PMO function since 2016. This presentation includes the following: a quick overview of the company and the PMO function, our history and key milestones, how we are structured, our main objectives and what we have built and developed in order to fulfill them, the results we have achieved and their benefits to the company, and what we are looking to do as next steps. Let's start with the overview. Provident belongs to International Personal Finance Group, who provides loans through two distinct offerings: home credit and digital. Our company was founded in 1880 in England as Provident Financial plc, and since 1997 created its international division, International Personal Finance, also known as IPF, separated from the activities of United Kingdom. IPF has presence in Poland, Czech Republic, Hungary, Romania, Spain, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Finland, Australia, and of course, Mexico. Since July 16, 2007, is listed on the London Stock Exchange and belongs to the FTSE4 index. With 22,750 agents, it serves around 2.3 million customers, generating in 2018 a profit before taxes of £109.3 million. Our mission is to make a difference every day by offering simple and personalized financial solutions. We initiated operations in Mexico in 2003 in the city of Puebla, and currently we are the third most important microfinance company in Mexico's market, with operations in 28 states of the country. With more than 12,000 independent commission agents and around 3,000 employees around the country, we make a difference every day for a little more than 900,000 customers by offering simple and personalized financial solutions in an inclusive, transparent, and responsible manner. Our business model is based on home loans lending through our large network of independent agents, who keep a strong personal relations with all customers while providing a practical and convenient service. The quick, responsible, and at-your-home loan is the core of our business model, as we look to create an environment of mutual trust where our customers and Provident have a comprehensive, healthy, and close relation. Currently, we occupy the 368th position at the most important companies in Mexico's ranking, and the 40th position in the most responsible companies in Mexico, according to Expansion magazine. For 12 consecutive occasions, we have been granted the Socially Responsible Company recognition provided by the Mexican Philanthropic Center and the Enterprises Social Responsibility Alliance. This recognition is the result of the constant work being done by the company to improve quality of life in limited resources communities. Provident Mexico PMO was established in 2016. There were previous efforts to establish a PMO within the IT area, but with partial success. Due to the challenge that change was presenting to the company, it was needed to move it to have a wider view and with an improved span of control cross-company. So it was decided to move it at a corporate level and bring new people from the market to strengthen and professionalize the function. So a sui generis team of professionals was formed to make the difference by leading change to enable the company for making business. From philosophers to accountants, for business developers to engineers, from writers to economists, what brought a good combination of diverse thinking, practices, and personalities. As previously stated, the change muster needed to be dominated and controlled in the company. Therefore, One of PMO's first goals was to demonstrate that change can happen in a controlled way and that things were able to be done. A philosophy was created and aligned to considering service attitude to the customer, punctuality and commitment to agreements, sharing experiences, knowledge, resources, successes and failures, providing feedback and influencing positively, performing win-to-win negotiations, making the difference every day, avoiding falling on old practices, creating and showing a well-recognized image based on the quality of the work and results delivered, supporting the team besides any individuality to make it stronger, and walk the talk, comply with policies, follow processes, and use and improve PMO and change tools. Along with this and getting support from the talent development team through a series of team building sessions, a set of values was adopted by the PMO team in addition to the ones established by the company of respect, responsibility, and transparency. These PMO values are honesty by being just in our behaviors and by being true, humility, being modest in our actions and recognizing our limitations, being loyal, showing our commitment with our team, the company, and with all we do, trustful, showing credibility on our capacity and on others' capacity. In addition, we have adopted a specific set of rules to be more efficient on meetings and email management, setting up a standard for the company that has been recognized by upper and middle management as a foundation for appropriate communications and discipline. Let me share with you a little of our history. 2015 was a year of a lot of changes for the company. There were some efforts to build a PMO under the IT structure with little success, so by the end of 2015 and beginning of 2016, it was decided to strengthen the functions. As a first step, the new team, new and previous members, under the direction of a new head of PMO, drove an assessment to understand stakeholders' feelings, needs, and expectations, and convert them to specific requirements and functions. Business strategy was studied and understood, and the PMO was redesigned to fulfill business needs. During this first year, the PM team was assessed and specific learning and development provided. Good practices were introduced like portfolio management, demand management, methodology, and distributed resource planning. A 360-degree change was performed to the project management board, where stakeholders were provided with valuable information and they were responsible of an on-time decision and business results derived from the project's execution, while before it was mainly an informational forum. It was noted, due to the structure and culture of the company, that there was resistance to change, so a frog soup approach was taken to easily and slowly introduce the concepts. For those of you that do not know or do not remember, if you want to make frog soup and if you do the same as when you prepare spaghetti, put the water first to boil and then try to throw the frog into the water, the result is that the frog will immediately jump out of the water with her leg burned and will be quite difficult to catch it. Instead, you have to put water at environment temperature, put the frog into the water, and use a low flame to heat slowly the water. The frog will gradually become accustomed to the temperature of the water until it boils. And voila! There it is, your frog soup. So all concepts described in this presentation were introduced gradually, analyzing stakeholder needs and learning habits, and a specific strategy based on the frog soup approach were taken with each of them. In the majority of the cases, one-to-one individual approach to guide them through the processes and the use of tools and techniques. In other cases, peer or group learning. Later results were gathered and presented after consolidation. It was great to see their surprised faces after realizing that they accomplished the goal. This approach continued to be used every time a new concept is introduced in the company regarding projects and change. The result of such initial assessment gave that, as our current state, there was uncertainty on if a strategy was being executed. 53 projects listed, 27 pre-selected projects, 19 ongoing between initiation and execution phase, 8 on idea phase, and a much more coming. No consensus on which goes first on priority, and second and third. Lack of cross-company support with a very high dependency on specific resources, or SMEs. A high risk of PMs and company resources being assigned to non-strategy driven projects. There was a lack of project cost and benefits tracking. All these giving as output a low likelihood on achieving our strategic goals. Our stakeholders were looking to have certainty on strategy execution, that projects were aligned to the strategy, and that priorities were clear and well known and agreed. Cross-company support and focus on selected project success, that resources were allocated to the projects that were bringing the higher benefits and the lowest possible risks. They needed costs and benefits to be tracked, and their output that they were looking for was a high likelihood on achieving our strategic goals. 2016 was a year to assess, redesign, and build foundations. And of course, start giving results around controlling the amount of change, providing visibility of all the initiatives, questioning the need of desire to do a project based on the benefits it will bring and the risk it implies to the company. Also, to sensitize on the capacity and availability of resources. It comes 2017. We continue offering frog soup, and change management was introduced to the equation. In this case, we were not able to deploy the practice as we were looking for, but we managed to include within the demand management a tool we call the change impact analysis that allow us to quickly assess the impact of project results over technology, processes, people, and the project itself. And within the project management board scope, we introduced the change management board to review, discuss, evaluate, and decide over the associated impact to the company. Big challenge. The project management development path was aligned to PMI's career framework, providing clarity and transparency on where each PM was on the profile map, what were the gaps on the path, and a professional development plan to cover them. The interdependencies concept was introduced to sensitize that projects are not independent from other initiatives or business processes, and that tasks, resources, risks, decisions on one project can affect positively or negatively other project or projects. Quality management was another practice that we tried to introduce. The original idea was to do it at a company level. So, and considering our walk the talk philosophy, we started it within our PMO by assessing project quality. By 2016, we managed to provide better visibility on initiatives across the company and more and better information for decision taking and project selection. It became key to understand the impact that uncontrolled change brings to the company compared with the positive impact when it is controlled. During 2018, there was a boom on change appetite. Why not? During the 2 previous years, change happened with positive impact. Reality is that there was little negative one, but there was no comparison to previous years, and it was visible and known. So controls on change were improved. In addition, the PM's team became smaller since we were able to manage more with less resources. Our efficiency was increasing notably. Structures changed within the company, and PMO was moved back under IT and included as foundation for the IT governance area. Nevertheless, its scope remained cross-company. This change empowered even more our PMO since almost 85% of the projects included technology. it was requested for the PMO to include within its remit the management of all requirements done to IT. The demand management process was adjusted to also include all requests to IT. A little later, PMO also absorbed all core banking changes requests to the global team in UK, centralizing the management and bringing control and visibility over them. The project management board, which included change, was restructured to give space for the IT and change board. 2018 was a year of enhanced controls, strengthening the PMO, providing more governance, and the merge of IT and change. Now it's time to share with you our current structure. PMO, after being taken out of IT, originally reported to the Credit and Risk Vice President, as he was also driving transformation for the company, but since a year and a half it was moved back to IT at the same time that the IT governance area was created and included it within. Even though PMO is under the IT structure, its scope and governance continue to be company-wide, presenting every month to the leadership team, country manager, vice presidents, and directors. The IT and Change Board is under PMO's management. All PMs, 4 of them, are under the PMO structure and can be assigned to any type of project under any area within the company. We believe that this provides our PM team with a wider vision and they can easily become aware of business needs, interdependencies, and synergies. PMO has 2 hats. The first one is the governance one, by managing the portfolio and driving the demand management process, building and maintaining the methodology, keeping relation with key areas like finance, marketing, sales and services, amongst others, assessing and forming PMs and change practices, and evaluating the appropriate compliance with the methodology, managing strategic forums like the IT and Change Board, and challenging the company's strategy. Its second hat is operations related by supporting the PM team with communications, reporting, dashboards, providing training, new or enhanced tools and techniques, and managing operational forms like the project's working group. We have a good set of objectives. Let's see each one of them. A key objective of PMO is to make sure there is strategic alignment of all projects with company's strategy. Every initiative has to be assessed against our key strategic variables plus timing and opportunity, and confirmed and prioritized by our leadership team. Specific concepts were introduced as part of project management and change sensitization in the company in order to categorize projects and look for a balance between sub-portfolios. We will discuss this topic further in our presentation. So it was quite important for our teams to understand that apart from strategic alignment, there are going to be projects that may not be directly related to the strategy, but instead were oriented to enhance or potentiate the strategy enablers and mitigate or eliminate the strategy restrictors, and that not all projects needed to be strategy-oriented, but needed to build the foundation where strategy will become a reality. So based on the strategic plan, 6 key strategic variables were determined along with the leadership team: growth, modernize, diversify, profitability, risk mitigations, and savings. Along with the leadership team, these 6 variables were given different weights depending on the relevance for the business. Then each member of the team provides a grade for each variable for each project. All this information is put together to show the projects with higher grades and, of course, the more important for the business. A 3-filter portfolio assessment process is in place. The first filter evaluates strategic alignment in order to increase likelihood of achieving expected business results. This filter considers also initiatives needed to build foundation. Several projects are set aside as a result of this first step. The second filter evaluates the feasibility to perform any initiative based on company's capability. So easiness, how quick it can be done, cost and risk are the factors to evaluate against. And another set of initiatives are set aside as a result. The last filter is to evaluate against people availability. And the final result is that we obtain the initiatives that are aligned with the strategy that we can execute and the certainty that the order or priority of execution considers putting the available resources first in the projects that bring the bigger benefits to the company. As last step, a strategic execution roadmap is produced, confirmed, and communicated every month. As previously stated, the portfolio is divided in two sub-portfolios based on categorization that helps prioritization and also to provide a healthy equilibrium. The first category is based on the concept of business as usual, BAU, run the business, RTB, meaning keeping the lights on, and change the business, CTB, associated to changing the way we do things. This categorization helps to make clear that BAU is priority 1, run the business is priority 2, and change comes at last. But not only priorities are taken into place, but also there has to be a balance between run the business and change the business. A healthy metric is that there should be more run than change, and there should be no more change than the one we can handle. Our second characterization is based on the following concepts: the regulatory or mandatory projects, the foundational for all initiatives that are not directly related to fulfill the strategy, but to build foundation for the strategy to be implemented as successful, the strategic projects directly oriented to fulfill the strategy, and, as usual, the quick wins, which can be foundational or strategic, but can be done in less than 3 months at a low cost and effort. Under this categorization, it is also relevant to keep a balance between foundational and strategic projects, since there is a tendency from business to do only the strategic ones, as their results impact directly their KPIs and bonuses. But if no foundation is built or constantly maintained, at a medium or large period of time, it becomes more and more difficult to reach the strategic goals for the lack of, as an example, infrastructure. An additional category is used for projects that have been left behind for several reasons, but that, at the end, have an expiration date or, let's say, a span of life, and have to be done sooner or later, or there will be a consequence for the business. We can call them do or die. The strategic alignment is supported by a robust demand management process where a project technical guide has to be filled out and endorsed by the director of the interested area as a first step for the leadership team to decide if there is appetite for the company on investing time and effort on evaluating feasibility and build the corresponding business case. This process also includes the application of a change impact assessment to determine the amount of change, its impact, and the need for a project manager, a change manager, or both of them for the project. Here we can see an example of our current roadmap, which shows priorities, directives in relation to them, like that BAU, regulatory or mandatory projects and critical ones are untouchables, and all companies should be focused on them. You can see also that for each type of project there is a subtotal of the number of projects on such category. In the upper right corner, it is stated that the maximum number of strategic projects that can be handled as a company is between 10 and 12. Therefore, in this example, only projects from high and higher priority can commit with days and resources to execute them. Any project with a priority below high has no assurance of being delivered on time or even started. Each line that represents a project and its duration also shows its RAG status and who is the project manager. This is the second part of the roadmap, which includes the projects with priority below high. You can see that, for example, Project Q had a start programmed for February 2019, but has been moved to probably start by April. There are 3 new projects shown in black under assessment and depending on the portfolio assessment. We manage a category called Single Area Initiatives for relatively small, under quotations, projects that it's supposed that will be driven by a single area and no PM is needed. The corresponding reporting for each project and the whole portfolio is produced and distributed. Both the IT and Change Board and the Project Working Group are managed by our PMO. Another of our objectives is to determine if there are enough resources to do all the projects we want to do. So a capacity planning is performed for all resources required for projects. A report is produced on the persons that represent a bottleneck risk and specific recommendations are given in order to mitigate this risk. The information on the effort required by the project is provided by the project manager and the project's business representative and compared against the information provided by each functional manager on her or his functional resources availability. BAU, RTV, and projects or CTV effort is split in order to have more detail on this exercise and also identify if there is effort from a resource that is being performed on tasks that do not correspond to such resource. This exercise has allowed the company to identify tasks that have to be reassigned to another person, area, or functions, overload in resources and the need to streamline or acquire more, require balances of workloads. Managers that do not delegate appropriately clearly see when the team members have low workloads and managers are exceeded in their workload. Dependencies on specific SMEs that do not only affect projects but daily operations. Succession plans that are needed. This exercise is also performed for the PM team as a group and by each PM, looking always to keep a healthy workload. In the above graph, it can be seen that PM's availability is 4, while demand is a little higher in some months, but still manageable. In the below graph, it is possible to see, for a specific project manager, the number of projects assigned to him in this case, the amount of time spent on BAU, run the business, and projects. It seems obvious that PMs should spend all their time in projects, but in this case, this project manager is managing other PMs and therefore he needs to spend BAU time on it. A 20% overload threshold has been set as a maximum and with a limit of 3 months. So a person can be overloaded over 100% of her availability with a maximum of a 20% for a period no longer than 3 months. If this is not possible, reassignments, project postponing, or holding a project on must be done in order to maintain a healthy workload for all resources. This exercise is performed every 4 months since we do not yet have tools that allow to automate the process. The period of time we consider every time we do the exercise is at least 6 months, so we can cover every period with sufficient accuracy. As third objective, we have to ensure on sync projects execution. Projects cannot be seen as separated efforts that have no up and down, clashing between them and stepping over each other. Therefore, providing visibility on how projects interact and depend on each other to avoid clashing is another of our objectives. PMO provides visibility on interdependencies between projects, clearly stating which are the core ones and which the ones that will be supported by them. This slide shows in an executive view how projects depend on each other, based on deliverables, resources, services, and decisions, and that management has to be involved on the tracking and managing such dependencies that can affect priorities, delivery times, and also business results. We provide also visibility and transparency on the projects that are disposed and the ones that are postponed for later or for further evaluation. Interdependencies are shown at project level using an engineering dependencies map in which we added a heat map that clearly shows in red the ones that are the more risky in relation to the number of interdependencies coming in and out, the number of systems that have to be touched, and a complexity grade calculated based on the number of involved areas, previous experience, and time to be done. The white boxes show common initiatives that may also have dependencies but are still not completely identified. This kind of analysis and graph allows the business to realize the amount of change that is up to be done and to perform an assessment on if it will be possible to be handled by them. Additionally, interdependencies are also analyzed at deliverable level, project to project, for all initiatives as shown in the provided image. This exercise provides a good detailed level of understanding to the project and technical teams on the oversight they have to perform not only to their own projects, but also to the others they depend on. It also provides a holistic view of business needs and complexity. PMO is also responsible to create and maintain a project and change management culture in the company. Methodology, training, sensitization, and drive-through sessions have been devised in order to create a project and change management culture in the company. PMI's PMBOK was chosen as our source of practices. Our project management methodology is formed of 6 macro processes and a set of tool techniques and templates that helps understanding and applying the concepts. At the same time, it helps standardize the way we all do projects and take business decisions. It includes an introduction to project management, processes, objectives, policies, procedures, and quick guides to use templates, tools, and techniques. Each project manager has to master our methodology in a period of 6 months. It has also provided us with ways to make our colleagues see that every time a change is done at any staff function, it will produce impact in other staff areas and field operations with likelihood of higher impact. At the same time, if there is a change in field operation, it will impact staff functions, and there the reason to control such change through a change management practice. PMO is responsible to disseminate, train, maintain, and improve the methodology and measure and ensure its adoption. To ensure appropriate interaction between the functions is also an objective of the PMO. So throughout the life cycle of a project, functions like architecture, change management, quality management, and project management have to act coordinately in order to produce the desired outcomes and make sure the change is adopted appropriately. PMO supervises PM relation with these other functions and provides feedback and recommendation on how to maintain it and improve it. Okay, it's now time to summarize our results. Talking about strategic alignment, all initiatives are evaluated against strategy and sanctioned by the leadership team as members of the IT and Change Board. Priorities are set, confirmed and adjusted every month by the committee, and then communicated periodically to all the senior management team, managers and above, to ensure compliance and commitment. From a little more than 80 initiatives running without governance, oversight, and tracking, the number went down to 10 to 12 strategic projects, plus another 10 to 12 initiatives that are visible and tracked. Around 90% of projects are finished and progress status is known with opportunity and accuracy. While the equilibrium between run the business and change the business, foundational and strategic projects is not yet at the appropriate level, it has improved notoriously by increasing the run the business foundational percentage, allowing to make sure lights are on, diminishing the number of incidents, and increasing the foundation base to be able to build for the future. Project status is reported weekly, validated and endorsed by the business project leader, and shared and discussed with the project sponsor fortnightly, allowing to manage stakeholders' expectations. Talking about workload assessment, it is also well known where resources are spending effort and the impact and value of it. When it is detected that a resource is applying time to a task that is not under her responsibility, decisions are taken almost immediately to reassign efforts to the appropriate team member and maximize knowledge and experience. Work overload has diminished in around 25%. Appropriate resources are assigned with priority to the projects that have better alignment to the strategy or that are needed to build foundation, and focus is ensured over the initiatives, what has raised the success rate to around 90%. About visibility on interdependencies, impact between projects have gone down as there is a wider visibility on interdependencies and priorities. By knowing the relation or dependency between areas, managers are able to synchronize better on their different functions, avoiding overlaps and waiting or losing times. Impact is assessed and it has become key for decision taking and prioritizations. While change is unstoppable, our leadership team knows when and where it is happening and is conscious of its benefits and risks. At all levels, projects and change management language is spoken and understood, what facilitates achieving results as a team. With all this place, it has become easier and quicker to think strategically and act with opportunity. Finally, what we have to do as next steps. It is yet needed to build an appropriate infrastructure in our finance area to be able to track costs in a sufficient detail for projects. At the moment, only external costs are tracked, not allowing to determine the real cost of a project. PMO and project managers are working on a proposal for implementing processes and practices within the finance area to be able to perform these tasks. Another topic that has become relevant due to the nature of our business and the security matters on our country's environment is an extended operational risk assessment. During the following months and in coordination with the operational risk management area, this enhancement will be included in our methodology to be ensured by the PM team that such assessment is performed and validated. Even though we are not required to comply with GPDR, we need to consider it since our main office is located in Europe. Therefore, it is to be included during this year an assessment of GPDR tropicalized to our country as part of each project that requires the use of personal data. We currently only have MS Project that limits the PMO power. Additional tools are being revised in order to enhance the infrastructure we currently have, allowing us to abandon electro-manual work done in Excel and PowerPoint and provide us with more time spent on more strategic and valuable tasks. We really appreciate all the time you dedicated to this presentation. Kind regards, Provident Mexico PMO.